So whether you just bought a heater for your garage or you're looking to buy a heater for your garage, like I just installed my Mr. Heater 50,000 BTU, I am putting together all of my videos so that you guys can bookmark and save this, and you guys can jump around using the timestamps in the description depending on what step you're at or what step you're wondering about more information on. So I hope you guys like this video, and if you know somebody that wants to buy one, share it to them. If not, here we go. Quick unboxing of this Mr. Heater 50,000 BTU heater. So if you are wondering what's in the box and potentially thinking about buying one, you guys can know. We'll take a quick walk around of it and show you what it looks like and my first impressions. So this is everything you get in the box. You get two of the mounting brackets that mount to the heater and then mount to the ceiling. You get your jets, because this does come as a natural gas and you have to switch it over to propane, so there's the jets. You get the spring, which is also for the conversion to propane. Instruction manual. You get some stickers to put on there after you convert it to propane. Mr. Heater sticker. I'm not sure where we're going to put that. Maybe on the toolbox, we'll see. And you get the heater itself. It isn't very big. It has fan louvers, so you can direct the air. They do have springs on them, so they stay in place. They seem like they have quite a bit of tension on them. So I think they're going to stay in place and not move around. I have seen a lot of heaters, the springs break or pop out, so time will tell on how that works. I do like the red spring, kind of looks cool. When we walk around to the back side, you got your blower fan, which actually pushes air over the heat exchanger. You have your 4-inch vent, which it is a powered vent, so you can vent it vertically or horizontally. You got your 1/2-inch gas inlet, and you got your power, which I have. I'll show you here in a second. I have just a basic 14 amp power cord, because this only draws like 3 amps on that motor, and for the electronic ignition. You can pull this cover off and it wires right into one of these knockouts, whichever way you want to send it. And that's about it. That's all that comes in the box. So if you just bought a 50,000 K Mr. Heater Big Maxx and you want to use it on propane, you have to convert it, changing out the jets and the spring. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now, right inside this panel. To get this panel off, there are 4 5/16 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to take them off to get to the jets and the spring. And then the panel just slides right off. So once you have the panel off, there are 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that allows this to pop out. And then you can change the jets that are in there. As you can see, once you get them out, it allows this to tip out so that you can get to the jets back here. I'll get the new orifices ready. Put a little bit of pipe thread compound on here. So now we'll take these orifices out with a 12mm wrench. Set these aside so we don't get them mixed up. And I did apply some pipe thread compound to these, and we will just put these back in the same spots that the other ones come out. Obviously, we'll start with the lower ones. Be careful not to cross thread it. That one is fighting me. And of course, now it starts to rain. There it goes. Be very careful not to cross thread that. If you cross thread that, you're gonna have a lot of issues, and you're gonna be talking to Mr. Heater trying to figure out how to get a new propane line rail. And then we'll snug them up with the same wrench. Do not over tighten. Before we put this back in with those 4 bolts, there's a screw down here that I'll show you. So we need to pull this screw out with a flathead screwdriver. As you can see, it's only got a few threads on it. And then even farther down in there. So we have to take this black cap out, but I can't film it and take it out at the same time because you won't see anything. So I'll take it out and then I'll show you what it looks like. Once you get it threaded all the way out, if you got a small pair of pliers to grab onto it and pull it out. Alright, that's what the cap looks like. Set this aside. They did give a new one with the propane conversion. And after that, with the same pliers, you can pull out the spring. So that is the natural gas one, and this is what we're putting in is for the propane. It is red, so you cannot get them mixed up. Let's drop that down in the hole. Here's the new cap. Don't get these mixed up. These are different as well. So we will plop that down in there and we'll screw that in fully. Be careful not to cross thread this as well. So once you get that all the way down, we'll back it off 1.5 turns. There's a half. There's one. There's 1.5. And then we will put this silver cap back on. Once you get the spring in, there is a sticker that comes with it to let you know that whoever works on this, it has been converted to propane. So we'll stick that on there to where you can see it easily, just like that. So once you get the 3 orifices put back in for your propane and your spring in the regulator, then we can slide this back up and put in the 4 screws that go in there. Always start your screws by hand first so that you don't cross thread them. That'd be a simple trick to keep you from having a lot of headaches down in the future. And then reverse the process for the cover, slide it in, 4 screws to tighten everything back up. There you go, simple conversion from natural gas to propane. And we're gonna do the electrical and the connections for the gas. It'll be a lot easier to do that on the ground than when it's hanging up there. That way all we have to do is hook up the flexible gas line to my black pipe that goes off the wall. We'll do the electrical first, and then this, including the drip leg, the union, and everything else. We'll start by taking the cover off, 2 screws. So on the inside you get a black, white, and a ground. We're gonna take the side knockout out. And we put one of these in the side. That way you can clamp down your wire so it'll be secure and not moving around. We'll feed our plug through the hole and tighten down the screw. My cord didn't come color coded for black and white. It just has a green for the ground. So I did plug it in and I tested and I found out this is the black wire, that is the white wire. So on your cord should be black, white, and green, and it just color code matches up to whatever's on the heater. Now push the wires back in and put the cover back on. So when you get to the gas line, you have a 1/2 inch stub coming out of the heater. You need a union that connects onto that so that you can easily disconnect it. That just screws off, screws back in, compression fitting. Then you need a drip leg, like this. It needs to go vertical down, and then your gas inlet will come out of the top. I messed up, I need to run to the store. I didn't get the short piece so that I can screw these two together because they're both female connections. I need one that's got a 1/2 inch male on both sides. So I gotta run to the store, and then we will get these hooked up. So here's a piece that I had to go get. It's a simple male to male 1/2 inch, right here. So we will quick and assemble the drip leg before we put it on the heater. We use pipe thread compound on all the joints, and you can be pretty liberal with this. There's your drip leg put together. Now we'll put the other end of the union on the heater itself. So take the red cap off of the heater and put some thread compound on that pipe. And then thread the union on. This will go on here like this. And the drip leg always needs to go down at a 90-degree angle from the heater. That'll get tightened down when I get it installed on the ceiling. Here's the fitting that come out of the flexible line that will be coming out of here into my black pipe that goes through the wall. That will get threaded onto here, once again with pipe thread compound again. And then this will simply screw onto there. For the mounting brackets, you simply take out these 3 screws and that attaches just like that. Then on the front of the heater, it's the same thing, 3 screws. I will have to say, make sure that the flange comes out rather than in, or else you're not going to be able to get any screws or lags up through here into the ceiling or 2x4s or whatever you mount it to. Now it's ready to mount to the ceiling. So I have 2 2x4s spaced out 20 inches on center. I threw 4-inch screws up through the 2x4s into the rafters, and then I threw a few more 2.5-inch screws into the OSB sheeting. So it should be pretty strong. I can almost hang from it and it doesn't move at all. The heater's only 60 pounds. With 2 of them, it should be fine. So I'm gonna hold the heater up there and my son's gonna mark it, and we'll pre-drill 3 spots on each 2x4 so that we can lag in the heater to the 2x4s.
I'll move.
Am I on?
On it?
Am I on?
Yeah.
All right, mark it. Make it quick, it gets heavy.
Yep, ready.
Hand it to me. This electrical box is in mine. So hold it with one hand. Gotta go forward. Oh, yes.
That was terrible. I was going the wrong way with it.
Yep. So I have 2 legs holding it in right now. I'm gonna put a 3rd on each side, right in the middle. I thought I grabbed 6, I'm gonna grab 4. So there's 2 there, and then there's 2 on the back. One there on each side. That'll hold it. So that's what it looks like when it's mounted from the ground. Power cord reaches. So I got the gas line and the vent pipe installed, as you can see up there, and I'm waiting for the gas company to drop off the tank so that I can hook it up and start it up. When I did the gas line, I started off by painting all the black pipe. That way it looks aesthetically pleasing from the outside, and then assembled all the pieces. I actually realized that I probably should have assembled them first before painting them, that way you don't scratch them with the wrenches. I then cut 2 pieces of unistrut about 6 inches long and painted them as well. That way I have something to mount it to on the outside. I actually have clamps that go around the pipe, tighten down, and secures it to the unistrut. While the paint was drying, I actually drilled the hole from the inside. I used a bit slightly larger than the pipe itself. That way you have a little bit of wiggle room when it goes through. You can caulk it after you get it in. I actually didn't have a drill bit long enough to go all the way through the wall, so I actually had to take a bunch of extensions and tape them together so that I could reach all the way through and make a pilot hole to know where I could drill from the outside through the siding and the sheeting. Once I had the pilot hole, I went outside, grabbed the ladder, and I was able to drill a hole through the siding and the sheeting to line up with the inside hole. And when you drill through the siding, make sure that you run the bit in reverse, otherwise you don't catch the siding and chip it and rip it up. Once you get through the siding, you can actually turn it forward and then go through the sheeting the normal way. Once the hole is drilled, then you can take the pipe and just insert it through the hole. Once you have your pipe inserted through the hole, you can grab your unistrut, mark out the top and the bottom where you want it to sit, and mount it. I just used 2 normal screws in each one of them with washers, and easy peasy. I then used the clamps on the top and the bottom to secure the pipe to the unistrut. Once you had the pipe actually secured and clipped onto the unistrut, then you can move inside and you can connect the connections going from the gas line that you pull through the hole to your heater itself. I started with a shutoff immediately after I come through the building. On the other end of that shutoff, there is a silver connection that the gas line will screw onto. The gas line will not actually screw onto a black gas pipe. Then you could just simply, after you have that connection on, tighten up your flex line real tight and then run it over to your drip leg on your heater, which also will have one of those silver connections. Once you have all of your connections really tight on your gas line, then you can move on to your vent. I actually started at the heater, which I learned was a bad decision because immediately I wanted to take a flexible 90 off the heater, but the drip leg was in the way, so I had to get a short extension piece. I think it was about 12 inches or so, and then take your adjustable 90 off of that. And of course, it landed right on a stud to where I wanted it. I got pretty frustrated trying to get that to line up, so I took a little bit of a break, and a couple hours later it dawned on me, why don't I drill the hole in the wall itself, poke through the pipe that I have sticking on the outside with the rain cap and everything, and actually run from there to the heater. That worked out way better. I actually had to get a second adjustable 90 and connect into that extension piece. So coming off the heater, I have an extension, I have a flexible 90, and then that actually connects to the pipe that runs through the wall outside. So to drill the hole, I actually used a jigsaw. I just put the pipe up there, traced around it, drilled one hole so that I could get the jigsaw bit through, and then I used the jigsaw to cut the round hole. The wall thimble is a little bit bigger than the inside hole, so it's going to cover any miscuts that you do have. I then marked just above center because you do want this pipe to go up just a little bit. So I marked just above center of the hole and then drilled a small hole through so that I knew where the center of the hole on the outside of the building was going to be. Same thing as a gas pipe, I just raised it a little bit so you have a little bit of a tip up. Once you get that hole drilled, you can go to the outside and do the same thing. Drill just a small hole on the edge of your mark, and then I actually used the jigsaw to cut through the siding and the sheeting at the same time. Worked out pretty good. I drilled 3 holes in the thimble once I had it inserted. That way I could secure it to the wall. And then I did the same thing to the inside and then put your thimbles together. 3 screws on each side of the wall. Bob's your uncle. Once I had the whole vent pipe installed, I did wrap all the adjustable 90s in tinfoil duct tape just to seal it up. I don't really trust those flexible 90s much. People say they're perfect. I don't trust them. It's a little bit of extra insurance for me. And that brings me to where I'm sitting at right now with the gas line installed, ready for the gas company to come, and the vent pipe installed, ready to start it up. If this video helped you out at all and you enjoy any of this content, please like and subscribe. So I got the propane tank dropped off yesterday, and we're going to check it over and we're going to start it up for the first time and see how it works. So here's the tank and the line. Here's how they hooked it up. We got full, about 80% in it or so. They did use the 45-degree elbow, and that goes up and into the building. And then there's my vent pipe coming out. As you can see, it fully clears the overhang, so none of the gases are going to be going back into the garage itself. So now we're going to go back into the garage and we'll actually start it up and see how it performs. Silly chickens. What you guys doing out here? So here we are in the garage. I see that they got the power's plugged in and the gas valve is open, which is straight. And then over here, I put the thermostat over here, right next to the door. This is just an old one that I took out of the house after we put in a Nest learning thermostat. I'm eventually going to get the cheaper version of the Nest out here, not the learning one. That way in the mornings I can just set it to 60 degrees, let it run for a half hour, and let this warm up, because in the garage is not insulated, so I don't want to sit out here and pump heat into it when it is not going to hold it. So I'm just going to run it when I'm out here and go from there. So we come over to the thermostat and we will turn the heat on. So now the thermostat is calling for heat and the exhaust vent is running. That runs for a little bit and it's got a sensor in there. So when it senses that it has enough exhaust, then it will fire the igniter and open the gas valve. It takes probably 15-20 seconds, I suppose. We'll just wait for it for a little bit. There's the igniter if you can hear it. and it ignited immediately, so that's good. Igniter's still running, and now it has sensed that there is a flame. So now that the heat is going to run and pump it through the exchangers up there, it will reach a certain temperature, and once it reaches a certain temperature, then it'll kick on the blower, and then that's when it'll start kicking out heat. Still heating up, and there goes the fan. And honestly, that's not very loud at all. I think that's pretty good. I can feel the air is starting to get a little bit warmer. As the heat exchangers warm up, it'll start pumping out a little more heat. So it was 57 degrees when we started, and we'll give it probably 5 minutes or so, and we'll see how long it takes to get to 60, which would be a 3-degree increase. So the heater's still running. It only took 7 minutes to get up to 60 degrees, which is a 3 degrees increase. I know it's not much of a test, seeing it's almost 60 degrees out today. So when it does get a little bit colder, I'm going to do a test of how long it takes to get from 30 to 60. And if you want to subscribe for that so that you don't miss that. And if you're looking to buy this heater, I'll leave the links in the description, as well as like and subscribe this so that you can see the future videos of what I do to this shop, what I do to the heater, the reviews, everything. I got a bunch of stuff planned. I will have to say, when you do get the gas hooked up, I still have to do this yet, but go up and take some soapy water, spray all the connections down. The gas company will do a leak test on this when they do drop it off, but it's a good idea to do that anyways, just so that you have a little bit of peace of mind that there's no leaks. So again, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.